Everybody, Scott Lane, founder of the We Will Not Support Hillary Clinton Facebook group. Hope you're having a great day. TGIF, wonderful day. However, we've got some problems here, and this is what Debbie's video on the top of the page is all about. This is why it's pinned. We would beseech you to please watch part of it. Skip through if you can, but it's 20 minutes. It's very impassioned, and it is about several things. Number one, it's about vote rigging and what's going on. Number two, it's about what she has done in her efforts. And number three, it's about what we need to do to help her. So please also look for the link that I've added for the Wikipedia site that talks about the upcoming primaries, caucuses, and non-caucus states. They're coming up rapid fire here throughout the March, April time frame. They start with 3 of them, in fact, tomorrow on the 5th. What she is asking us to do is actually take pictures, screenshots, make notes of the coverage that's happening, so you can do that from any state. What we want to do is create a track record and try to find where the inconsistencies are between the coverage and the results. There have been quite a few. Number two, she's asking, and I'm going to maybe expand on it, that if you're in those states, in those primaries, caucuses, find out what you can do. If you're in line, seek out the captains. Seek some training or some way to help them. We need to basically come up against the gaming of the system, and we need to stop it from Hillary's team. They're willing to do anything from violating the processes in each state to dressing up as nurses, to doing whatever you can think and not even think of, they will do. So that's just the reality of the day. Basically, it's like you're in sports, you're playing against someone that cheats, and also the referees and the umpires, in this case, the Democratic Party and the state and national level, are the referees and umpires in it, and they're in on the system too. Part of the frustration she has in her video, which is quite understandable, is she's collecting this information, and Bernie's campaign is doing nothing. I realize that they want to focus forward. I realize that, frankly, not everyone on this page is a Bernie supporter. However, Bernie has had some noble goals of this urgent crisis of taking back the middle class from the 0.01 percenters and the establishment. And that is to have a robust, vibrant democracy. It is to run a wonderful campaign. It is to not take money from the billionaires and the oligarchs and the multinational corporations that are poisoning us. However, as she points out, if we don't expose the system, it's a green light. Just like we had to sue about the data breach, something else has to be done. If there's anyone out there that is legal folks that can handle this, pro bono obviously would be wonderful. Outside the Bernie campaign, let's figure out a way to do it. We have seen that Bernie is very responsive when people have valid concerns, valid needs, and can document it. So what we need to do is document the hell out of this, because we've got about 10 states coming up in less than 10 days. We know they're going to cheat. We've had 15, probably almost all of those states had many precincts that were suspect. So that's what the video is about. The second part of my video I want to talk about is maybe a little background, and I'll do a separate video on this, which is why we have several petitions to arrest and charge, I should say, and arrest Bill Clinton with illegal campaigning. Let's think about this for a second. Now, this is going to sound a bit of an analogy that's strange, but there's a movie called Wag the Dog. If you have not seen the movie Wag the Dog, please watch it. To show you how connected Bill and Hillary are, we need to go back a far way, and why some of us are so upset. The reason is because of the trickle-down theory. Bill and Hillary, via the establishment, found an opportunity to steal, to hijack the Democratic Party away from the traditional base, which is liberals and progressives and middle-of-the-road Democrats. This is why we end up with neoliberals for domestic policy and an extremely hawkish neoconservative policy. Why am I mentioning this? one of the key cornerstones of this was deregulating the various industries, which consolidated power. It consolidated power into 5 companies, not 6 as the meme states, that run 80% of all the media. If you have that many people to control, it's not that hard. If you had 100 companies, it'd be a lot tougher. So the media has been corrupted. The financial systems are corrupted. You've got Citizens United. So you have all this money. But you've also got a system where over the last 40 years, as we've had some media reports on, they've snuck some truth through inadvertently. The fact that over 40 years, $3 billion has been coming into the system that they brought in. Never mind the hundreds of millions of dollars to Bill and Hillary personally, or the hundreds of millions through the Clinton Foundation, which some people charge as a slush fund to get around the Federal Election Commission guidelines, which it obviously is when you only give 10% to charity and you collect money from outside companies, countries, dictators, and sell goods and products and services that even Bush Jr. wouldn't even sell to. So why does this matter? Why am I bringing this up? Seems far afield, doesn't it? Not really, because here's why. They're corrupt at every single level. They will lie about anything. And just like the definition of what is, they are wordsmiths. So the problem of why we're having trouble getting Hillary nailed down on some of this is what she's saying, she actually believes. Why? Because she believes the words that she uses. She crafts those carefully. Everything in Hillary's campaign has always been carefully crafted. So when she made the whopper of a lie, one of many at the town hall that says, well, I wasn't thinking about running for office when I was collecting those fees. We all know that's bullcrap, because for those of us that were around, or you can Google it, they said when you vote for Bill, you get Hillary. And they made it very clear that Hillary was going to be the future president. So we know that was going to happen. So this has all been planned. So what we're battling about, and the reason why we have this Facebook group, is because we have about 35 years pure fantasy spun around Bill and Hillary. This is topic for another grist, another topic for another video. But where this comes into play is this whole fantasy that we have a legal, above-board voting system. We don't. So there's the video about Debbie, and there's all these petitions that are on this group. What I would ask you to think about is the risk-reward ratio, and to tie it back to Hollywood and the stealing of the Democratic Party. Is one of the key linchpins on that was using the media via movies and TV to spin things. Wag the Dog is precisely that. Look at that. That was actually designed to take away attention from what was happening with Bill. That was a movie, and frankly, this is not the first movie that has been directed out of D.C. to try to take attention away. What the analogy there is for, think about, why was Bill at those 4 locations illegally, blocking polls for 2 hours? On the surface, and that's what everyone wants us to think about, is the surface of this. The key thing is that would block at least hundreds of votes. That's the reward for them. Strong Bernie precincts. Hundreds of votes won't go in. The risk? If they actually decided to charge a former president with this, he would laugh it off, and his adoring fans would pay the $25 fees or whatever it might be. Wag the Dog is all about not this hand. This is what's distracting you. This is Bill Clinton at the 4 polling precincts. What you have to look for is what's on the other side. Far away, as I purposely shook the video there. We have to wake ourselves up. We have to wake up to the fact that what we see is not really what's important. With the Bill and Hillary campaign, you always have to ask yourself, what are they reporting from the media? And more importantly, what are they omitting? This has always been more important with Bill and Hillary. The risk-reward ratio compared to what is happening with vote rigging in Massachusetts is not hundreds of votes, folks. We're talking thousands or tens of thousands that can be manipulated through the electronic voting system in Massachusetts and, frankly, most of the states. We have two systems that are complete garbage that many countries and certain states won't even allow. So, while we're looking at the four voting locations, certainly not a big fine. Or are you looking at vote rigging with a reward that Hillary can take literally thousands or 10,000s of votes away? The risk? Felonies. Serious crimes of manipulating that. But the beauty of it is, since President Obama and no one else has really been focusing on this, even though a lot of us have called for it, they've allowed this corrupted system to survive. Look at Kentucky. What happened there? We know what happened. There's cause and there's effect. And the folks in Kentucky are feeling the effect. I'm going to switch gears a little bit and let's think about this in Kentucky. What happened? What's going to happen in these various states? What happened in South Carolina?